This is my new velectrec City Range 2.0, and I've had it for a little while now. I think I got, let's see, 63 miles on it. So thought it'd be a good time to give a review, all the parts and pieces, kind of what I like, cons, pros, just a little bit more about the bike. So the build actually didn't take too long. I did it in my dining room, and I think it took me probably about 2 hours because I had to unbox everything, unpack everything, and then assemble it all together. Okay, so I'll start with a battery motor. It's a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery on a 750 watt, 1000 watt peak hub motor, rear hub motor. They're regular tires. They're 26 inch, like regular mountain bike tires that are really grippy. Surprisingly, like these grips are really nice. It goes all over the tire. They're not deep, but it has a lot of knobs on the tires. As far as driving this bike, it's real fun because it puts you in an upward position instead of a leaning forward, more like motorcycle kind of position. And it has the pass-through. So almost anybody could get on this bike and ride it because of that pass-through. Now, you have to be careful on your height because the pedals are directly below you. And with this angle, if your seat's too low, it's going to be real hard to kind of get that pedal. But I really ride it just throttle only. The things I've added to it, because I know you're seeing some things that are changed from what comes with it is the actual seat in the back. That's the biggest one we just added for my kids to sit on. Foldy lock, the phone holder, the drink holder, and added a little light down there that shines on the ground whenever you're riding. But everything else is, and the seat. So my wife liked this seat from her other bike, so we went and put this one back on. It's real soft, it's just extra wide, but everything else is the stock bike. Lights, I talked about lights. So it's got fenders and lights. It's got a front light here, which isn't super big, but it actually puts out a good enough amount of light whenever you're riding at night. And then the back light over here actually flickers when you pull the brake. So you can see it's blinking, and when you let go, it stops blinking. And that's pretty good to let anybody know behind you that you're stopping. Your brakes are Shimano disc brakes. You can see them right here. Super simple. They're not very big, but they do a good job at stopping. I did have to make an adjustment here because they were a little too soft before they grabbed, so I adjusted that out. If you want, you can adjust it here, but now they work really good. So let's see, I think that's pretty much it for the overall bike. As far as features and stuff, the range on it, I haven't tested the full range, but I want to say it's a little over 30 miles. And that's really cranking on it a lot, staying at high speeds. Now I know the top speed is confusing, and that's a big one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that to rest. Let me shift it up. So I'm pressing, up. We're in, so this one I changed the settings into only 3 gears instead of 9 or 5 or whatever it was before. So it only has 3. But if I crank on it, this will show you the top speed. So that's it, 24.5, and that's the fastest. I've gotten 24.5 with me on it, and just like that. Now I've changed in the settings that it's supposed to go 28. I've changed that to 28. It does not go 28. This is the speed it gets. It's 24.5. I think it said on the listing it was 25, and that's a full battery. With either me or my wife, it won't go over that. So that's your top speed, but it's still a good enough speed to get around town or wherever you're riding. As far as suspension, there's no suspension in the back, but there's suspension in the front. So you got the front forks. Make sure you unlock this before you ride, because if you leave this locked, that's gonna be a stiff ride. They're not gonna compress. It's not very comfortable. Switch it to unlocked so that they compress and the suspension can do what it needs to do. Now, as far as the controls go, I want to show a few things about the controls. Here's your control pad. Here's your power button. This is your light button for your backlight. Press that, it changes it dim and dark. Here's your info that changes the bottom, so that's gonna show your trip, odometer, your max, your average, and then the up and down changes your gears, which again, I changed that to 3. You can change that to whatever gear ratio you want, and that's in advanced settings. And then, this button. So you see this little foot here? If you hold that down, now the bike's gonna jump. If you watch it in this bottom corner by this circle, there's a little guy that'll pop up. And the bike will jump. Okay, and so if you hold that down, it's not gonna go fast, but the bike will actually propel itself forward, and while you're walking, you won't have to pull the bike. And so that makes it real easy if you just, you get off your bike and you're somewhere that you need to walk, you don't have to actually pull it or push it, the bike will move itself. So I thought that was really cool. I figured that out today, actually, after, what, 63 miles of riding. So that's a really cool feature on this bike. Now, as far as the actual ride, it's super comfortable because of the angle. You're at an up position. You're not leaning forward like a motorcycle. And so that's a super comfortable position to ride in. And it's just been super fun. I do want to say, I haven't checked if there's a change for your actual throttle for the time it kicks in, but there is a delay. So I've had a little delay whenever I turn the throttle. There's a couple seconds delay before it goes. Not a big deal, but definitely just wanted to mention that. I wanted to go over some of the weight and height specs because I get asked that a lot. It's recommended from the factory 5'1" to 6'3". That's going to be your height as far as like your rider's height. Maximum weight is 300 pounds, so 300 pounds is maximum weight, and the bike actually weighs only 50 pounds. So it's not super heavy to move around or put in the bed of a truck. So this is a great bike. My wife loves it. This is her bike, but I ride it a lot too, and I really enjoy it. This is the velectrec City Range 2.0.